Buff Nation, what is going on? It's the lull of the off season, but I had to bring on my good friend Rawhide Media for you. I mean, the last time we talked was kind of closer to the end of the season. A lot has happened, a lot has transpired. We'll get into it, guys, but y'all be sure, hey, to join the chat, whether you're on Raw's channel or mine. Mean a lot. We're going to dive into the most impactful transfers. We'll talk a little NFL draft, talk a little coaching staff, but Rawhide, man, how are you doing today? Long time no see. You're looking good in the Warren Moon jersey, man.
There you go. Oh yeah, I didn't even have to. I didn't even have to turn it around for you. See, you know the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know the game.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out. But no, I haven't been doing anything. I've been, man. We've been cut. The playoffs have just ended, so I've covered that a little bit. I've been hit or miss, but actually, I celebrated yesterday. YouTube gave me my channel back. They took my channel.
You lost your channel?
I lost monetization on it. That's the same thing.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I did. You didn't know that?
I didn't know. Wait, was the Oracle getting up there doing something weird on the live streams?
I lost it deservedly so because I was taking it too far. Not as far as the content, it says some of the shorts I was making, not about the lives.
Oh.
Yeah. You live and you learn. It was my fault. Hey, it was the Baltimore Ravens game, actually, just to let you know. It was the Baltimore Ravens when dude ran it back for a pick 6, I think. Thursday night football. Yeah.
Wow. Well, dang, I didn't know about any of that, but I'm glad you're back now. What a way to celebrate. What a way to celebrate. Guys, for all who are wondering, no, I did not get in a fight. I hit myself changing a flat tire yesterday. So my car's got a little bit of a punch, but I got exciting news for you, Raw. An exciting announcement. Nobody has ever heard this yet on YouTube. I'm not going to be a dad. I have yet to buy a home yet, but I did just sign up for an 8-week stand-up comedy class that starts here in 2 weeks on Tuesdays. And I mean, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. Hopefully this will help the channel improve a little bit.
Wait, back up. That was a lot. So you signed up for coming. When did you sign up for it?
I signed up for it last week. So it starts in March. It's 8 weeks long. And I'm going to learn how to tell some jokes. So, hey, maybe if my performance at the end of the class is any good, maybe I'll put it up on YouTube. But, I got some ideas. And hopefully, B. Smitty, the comedian that's going to be coaching us, hopefully he can teach me a thing or two about how to tell a joke.
Okay. All right. I know you got a hard stop, but I still got another question, though. What made you say, hey, I think I'm going to take some stand-up comedy classes?
Well, I like stand-up comedy. And, I moved, probably like 5 months ago or so. So I need to make some friends. And it's like, how do you make some friends when you work remotely, right? And then when I'm at the gym, I'm just in my zone. You don't just chop it up with people at the gym. So I was like, doing the stand-up comedy thing would, be kind of fun. And I'm sure I'd meet some other just, chill, funny people to hang out with. So trying to make some friends. But I tell you what, man, there's some things that I got to get off my chest too. So, like I got to learn how to turn all this stuff into a joke, so we'll see how it all goes. I mean, I know we got a little bit of a hard stop that I put on us, but I'm just going to say it, man. I'm hoping I can make a joke out of this, but churches, they need to be for everybody, man. They need to be for everybody. And I grew up in a wonderful church, but here's the thing, man, is what made our church different is that like we knew who the church pedophile was. Like everybody knew who the church pedophile was. That's just everybody knew who he was. He stood outside where he should have been and just waved to people coming in. He's a little bit off, right? But yeah, my mom would have me and my friends kind of drive him around sometimes because he didn't have a car. Just this old, way overweight man, right? Super fat. But every time I would drop him off, and we all knew he was creepy, he would say, so, you guys want to come in and watch some Scooby-Doo?
What? My bad, man. My fault. I apologize.
And we're like, no, Art. His name was Art. We're like, no, man. Like, we know you're gonna try to molest us. Like, we can't let that happen. And so, I mean, that's just how it was. But everything was safe because we just, everybody knew who he was, and he passed away a year ago from, just being kind of fat. So I thought now would be a good time to, do a stand-up skit, hopefully, where I can incorporate, because there are some jokes to be found within how absurd that whole thing. And my mom, man, bless her heart, she was always like, "Oh, Art, he's not creepy. He's not gonna touch you. He's not gonna do any of that. He just needs a ride." No. He did end up grabbing my ass once at church.
TMI. Whoa, let's stop. No more. I'm good. I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. As a matter of fact, I don't know. Hey, I don't even really know how to respond to any of that.
So, anyways, yeah, I got to learn how to make that a joke. But yeah. I'm a firm believer that churches, they need to be for all people, man. It's just, we need to know from the start, who is who. Are you creepy? Are you normal? Are you a Coach Prime hater, or are you a Coach Prime fanboy? So, Rawhide, I got to ask you, what side of the fence are you going to be on coming into this year?
I am going to be me, a raw me. I don't know where that lands. I don't know. I will admit, though, if somebody try to convince me of things that should happen to happen, I'm probably going to sound like a hater. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I love it. We'll dive into it. Again, y'all be sure to smash that like, subscribe. If I'm a half decent comic, I'll put up my stand-up routine here in 2 months, and we'll see how it goes. But this.
But you were serious about all that? You really doing it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was part of the whole. I was about to give you extreme credit. I'm like, man, you had me all the way. Yeah, that was a good joke.
I don't even feel like it's a joke yet. I mean, I got to work with B. Smitty on it. He's charging $200 for 8 weeks, so $25 for every week. I feel like that's pretty good for 2 hours. So hopefully, he can help me out with this. But anyway, Ra, I don't know how to transition. I mean, we will talk about the most impactful players here, but let's talk about the NFL draft, man. I got to get your thoughts right now on what the hell is going on, where you want Travis landing, where you want Shedeur landing. And let's just throw this in here too. What the hell is this Jackson Dart hype that we're hearing about, man? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, hey, you look at, I think Jackson Dart's okay quarterback. He's not better than Shedeur, which I think are, I think Shedeur is the best quarterback in the league that played in college football. But he was somebody. He was a sneaker. He was a sneaky guy in the beginning of the season. What I mean by sneaky is that he would generally be right outside of the best. And they always take one that they want to kind of promote or move up the draft board every season. So he's just that. He's that guy this year that they do every year, right?
I think it's agent manufactured, man.
I think that plays a part in it too. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback though. I think he's good.
He's a good quarterback.
I think you wanted. What's his name from? I think he played South Carolina. You thought about
Spencer Rattler.
I think he's that.
Yeah. That's totally fine. Yeah. I don't think he's first round guy. No.
Yeah.
No. But it's strange. Oh man. Jackson Dart, best quarterback in the. Give me Jalen Milroe and his tiny hands over Jackson Dart. I'm just gonna say it, man.
That's a rough one.
You can't run a Jalen Hurts offense with him.
With
Jalen Milroe,
with Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe, yeah.
Okay, look. If you're gonna draft, he ain't it, bro. He ain't it. He ain't it, man. He hit or miss. he throwing the ball. He ain't it, bro. I admit that he's a good backup, and I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but he's gonna if he goes to the league, you playing against people who got the same quality of talent as you do. And if he looks like that, having the best of the best, then what is it gonna look like when he doesn't have that? He ain't it, bro. He's a hell of an athlete.
Yeah. He needs to go to
it's a shame that
system, and he probably needs to sit for a while if he's gonna have a chance.
Yeah. Jalen, I hate that because he got so much talent, man. He's extremely fast.
Yeah.
But to get back to your question, though, about
Shedeur
and Travis, I love to see Travis with the Baltimore Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that can't happen. I mean, just overall. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't mind him being in it's not New York.
I think it would be fun, man.
I think Tennessee is fine too, though. I don't think Tennessee is a bad spot either.
I don't either. As
a matter of fact, Tennessee may be one of the better spots for him.
I just think they were so bad, obviously, because of Will Levis, right? Another guy that was kind of probably overdrafted a little bit just because of how weak the class was. But I just got this feeling that I feel like they're going to go with Cam Ward just because he's, they brought in Kansas City's assistant GM, and I feel like Cam Ward kind of has some of those, traits that Patrick Mahomes has, a little bit. I just feel like they might go. I don't agree with it. I think Shedeur will translate quicker to the NFL right away, but man, I'm scared Shedeur is going to end up right now with the freaking Cleveland Browns, man. I'm terrified of it. I know Kevin Stefanski's a pretty good coach, right? But that would just suck for him to fall in that lineage of Cleveland Browns quarterbacks.
I don't think I wouldn't want him in Cleveland either. Which I don't think Cleveland is as bad of an organization as most people think. But I wouldn't want him at Cleveland. I don't think that's the environment for him. I don't think he has the arm strength to play extremely well in the AFC North.
Yeah.
That's a Big Ben, Josh Allen type, even though Josh Allen is not in the AFC North, but it's that type of guy. I mean, who's the little guy that succeeded up there, though? And Shedeur is not little, not small. I'm talking about in compared to the Big Bens, 6'4" and all that. Mm-hmm. Who is there a smaller quarterback that's succeeded in the AFC North? I'm coming off the dome. I
don't know, man. I'm trying to think. Steelers. Joe Burrow. How tall is Joe Burrow?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how tall Joe Burrow is.
6'4"? Okay, yeah, never mind.
He's like, oh, I didn't even know it was 6'4".
These guys are 6'2" coming out. So yeah, just
yeah. I didn't know he was 6'4" either. As a matter of fact, that was a surprise. Honestly, I thought it was 6'2".
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
6'4" is tall.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up, though. Yeah, you need to be big. You can be thrown around a little bit, durable, all that.
Now, I would be happy.
I'm sorry, Russell Wilson. No,
it ain't working. But Dave, let me say this: I would be happy that he's drafted that high, but I think in the long run, that's not the best place for.
Yeah.
The way his style of play.
And I think the Giants, man, it would be a lot of fun. I think I didn't hate the move with them keeping everybody for one last, keeping the staff for one last time. I mean, we'll see how this goes, but I love the idea of Shedeur with Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy, and it's a division that just, of course, you got the Eagles and Commanders, but you should be able to beat up on the Cowboys. That's just how I feel about it right now. Like, it's not the worst division. It's not the worst division you could go to. I don't know. I think New York would be a lot of fun. I just don't want him going to Las Vegas, man. But I'm not even sure if Pete Carroll's got the patience right now to draft one of these quarterbacks this year and develop them. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Vegas.
The word on the street, it seems like they're looking for somebody. They're looking for... it's what Minnesota did, trying to find him a quarterback out of free agency, but they could also draft one too. I agree with your New York take, but the only thing I would like to see happen is that Brian Daboll stays with him. I think Brian Daboll is an excellent coach, and I think it'd be advantageous if Shedeur was able, right, to play under Brian Daboll. Because let's not forget, it was Brian Daboll who turned around Josh Allen. Everybody thought Josh Allen wasn't even going to make it in the league. Yeah. They hired Brian Daboll, and there you go. Now, granted, I think they also picked up what's his name, the wide receiver. That's all the news now. Stephon Diggs. Yeah, they picked him up too. That helped, but Brian Daboll turned him around. So that would be great if you could play under him. And you play in the dome when you're in Texas.
Yeah,
Washington's not that bad.
But didn't the Giants also have like a great offensive lineman that was out their whole year? Like, I don't think their line's going to be atrocious this next year.
Yeah.
Wasn't their left tackle out? I forget his name.
I don't recall.
But anyways, Travis Hunter, man. What are your
thoughts? He can go
about
anywhere.
him?
Yeah. Tennessee. You know me. I said Tennessee.
What do you think about him going as a corner to the combine? Is there anything to draw out of that? I feel like he should be playing wide receiver too, man. That's just how until he can't do it, I want to see him do it both ways.
I think it's going to be a little bit of that. Oh, but wait a minute. Where do you want him to play at? Did you say?
I want him to play New England. I don't want him to go to Cleveland. Tennessee, what's the point of having him when you don't have a quarterback? New York would be a lot of fun, if they decide not to go quarterback. But again, then you're in the same problem of like, who's going to be your quarterback? But New England would be a lot of fun because Drake May, I feel like, has a lot of promise. We'll see what he can do with Josh McDaniels being back there. But I also think it's pretty cool that if you're playing him at corner too, you got two former Buffs, Christian Gonzalez on one side and Travis Hunter on the other. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I agree with I think the style of play be okay, but it's in New England though.
Yeah. I mean, Travis Hunter's a no-nonsense guy. I think.
He's a great kid. I got the culture, man. I feel like Tennessee would let him be a little more free. I shouldn't say free, but I think he'd be a little. They would use him in multiple ways. I think New England, they seem kind of traditional. This is kind of how we're gonna do it. Now,
is that what? Yeah, that's how we're gonna put it. Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just not very many people say they want to go to New England, right? You know what I mean?
It's very true. Like
yeah.
What did Bill Burr say? It's Boston, Massachusetts. It's the first liberal racist city in America. So
yeah. There you go.
It's very weird. Yeah.
I'm not stamping that. I'm just saying New England. That's football wise, I guess, but Tennessee,
Yeah, I just don't want to see either of these guys in Cleveland. If that happens, I'll be a happy camper. But I can't cheer for the Browns. And side note, Justin Tucker, man, Justin Tucker, crazy. I had no idea he's such a creep, man. It's crazy.
Hey, I told somebody, hey, just wait. There's gonna be some more to pop out.
Yeah, there's gonna be some more, man. Just crazy. But anyways, let's get to the Buff stuff, man. I've teased out too long. A lot has changed with the roster. A lot has changed with the coaching staff. Before we dive into the team, man, coaching staff changes. Coach Flea, who was on my hot seat this year, we talked about that at the beginning of the year. I said, there are a few coaches on my hot seat. Coach Hart, which, now I'm leading. The big story of the offseason is when are we going to get the Coach Hart extension? we're still waiting on that news. But Coach Flea, man, was one of those guys that, he needed to go, man. He needed to go. Our running backs were terrible, man, and we got Marshall Faulk brought in. He's going to teach these guys how to run a Texas route and do a thing or two. What are your thoughts on him coming on to the staff?
Okay. I think it's good, right? It's another NFL gold jacket wearing guy that can come out on your roster, right? And now I heard what you were saying about Coach Flea, and you roll right into it. If it will you apologize to Coach Flea if next season looks eerily similar to this season?
Marshall Faulk needs to get his ass ready for FCS if that happens.
Oh my God. Okay, all right, I got it. I got you, bro. I got it. All right. Okay, all right, man. Okay. But put it to you, I got it. I think Marshall Faulk is a good hire. Yes, I believe that. 100%. I think you can't. That is an upgrade. I believe that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
Let me say it that way.
Mm-hmm. And
but what does it mean? I don't know though, Dave. I don't know what it means now.
I just want to see stuff that makes sense.
Okay.
And I don't think we saw like as much of the like weird stuff, that happened like in 2023. But again, I just had a whole bunch of issues with how he chose to use the personnel. And granted, Coach Hart had Trevor Woods starting those first 2 games at linebacker. That's a very good point. Whereas the offense had Charlie Offerdahl starting at running back the first couple weeks, right? One was a little bit more forgivable because the guy that you replaced him with ended up being all conference, right at the linebacker position. But I just hope that, hey, we have the right guys back there for pass protection, the guys that are used in the receiving game, like it works, right? But I don't even know, man. Is Charlie still on the team? I don't even know how this whole eligibility. So we are getting him back. We are getting him back.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I think right now Isaiah Gustive would be the starter, but how would you see this running back rotation shaking out? How would you want to see Marshall Faulk using these guys?
Isaiah Gus is going to be probably just, yeah, he's probably going to be starting back. Him splitting carries with Michael West. They'll probably bring somebody in April. I think they're bringing somebody in April.
Man, I sure hope so. Sure hope so. But yeah, like,
I mean, they got 5 backs now. You do know they got 5 backs, right?
And I'm excited to see Brandon Hood, man. I'm excited to see Brandon Hood. Everybody's pumped about him, man. I'm sick of being teased. I want to see what this guy can do I guess in our spring game or some of our scrimmages. I'm assuming we're going to still be holding our spring game, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
You saw Nebraska canceled theirs, right? Texas is looking at canceling theirs.
What? I mean, but why though?
They're scared kids will get recruited off of their performances there. But like,
I guess
our whole thing is we put it on YouTube every day, anyways. Throughout the whole off season. So if you're gonna go,
I heard that.
You're gonna go.
In Clemson doing it too.
Maybe
in Clemson doing it too.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that bro, they just crying, bro. They just whining. I get so tired of the whining, bro.
I know.
Somebody gonna see them practice. They gonna take the players, and then they gonna get convinced to leave, bro. What?
But I do think it's interesting, man, with Coach Flea leaving. And yes, this is true. BJ Nelson, he was sick. But we're just talking from a running back performance perspective. I thought it was pretty encouraging that we saw none of the running backs leave. Like, I was expecting some to leave, but I think that shows like, hey, they're probably bought into Marshall Faulk coming here, especially since we didn't run the ball much at all last year. More efficiently, I believe, but we didn't run it a ton. And so I think that continuity, they'll be working with Pat Shurmur again, but what we're not having continuity with is the offensive line. Phil Oldholt out of here, along with Coach Dancy off to Mississippi State. But I think the good news right now, Raw, is we have 3 coaches devoted to the offensive line. If we can't get it right with 3 coaches, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but Gunnar White, Andre Gerode coming back. I believe he's in the CU Hall of Fame, former Cowboy, along with George Hegamin. What'd you think about those moves and Coach Loadholt?
Okay. Yeah, I remember you mentioning about that. That's the question I really more so wanted to pose to you, is that what you thought about Gunnar White?
Well, initially I said, if this guy's going to be our head offensive line coach, man, this is terrible. That's what I said. That's what I said a few weeks prior to him being promoted. But, I've tried to see, try to look at it from an optimistic perspective on what he can bring. And, I would say this, Raw. Hey, if George Hegamin and Andre Gerode are perfectly happy and on board with being assistant coaches alongside, with him kind of leading the way a little bit, then maybe he's been coaching for 8 years in college football, to some extent. Maybe he's just the Sean McVay of Big 12 offensive line coaches. Like, maybe that's what we need to hope for. That, at least that's what I'm hoping for. But similar, Coach Loadholt played, obviously, he played at Tech, Gunnar White, but both of them are being hired to be like the head offensive line coach for the first time in their career under Coach Prime. And I find that interesting. He's calling a shot. That's how I feel about it.
Now, Gunnar White was at Jackson State with Coach Prime, wasn't he?
Yes. And he's been at some other colleges prior to that as well. Nevada, and I think another one.
I like the hire. I like it. And you just spoke about continuity, right, between the players. I think continuity between the coaches matters also.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good with it. I know you kind of wanted to splash, didn't you? You kind of wanted to splash.
Or at least somebody that's like we poached another school, like out in the Big 12. Like, yeah, we poached your offensive line coach, just like we poached Miami strength coach from them that's been there for like 25 years, man. We poached him. That was an awesome feeling. That was great. Wish we could have done it for the offensive line, but I don't think it's because we're out of money, man. And you just see what we gave Coach Livingston. That was a nice little extension.
Yeah. Well, there's NFL clubs that kind of do that. Like they DC, y'all didn't know they DC 3 years before they got the job, right? They just like to hire within. I mean, if you want to talk about I know it's not the same and all that, but it's just a philosophy on it. I mean, look at the Miami Heat. So my thing is that if you liked Loadholt last season, right? You liked him.
Yeah.
And Gunnar was there last season, correct?
Yeah.
When did that?
Yeah.
So you would have to think that the conversation, they already know what bad is, right? They got a clear indication. They got their eyes and they can identify bad. So if he's there under the tutelage and expectations and what their philosophy on how they want to play the game, and then Coach Prime understands his skill set and thinks he can do it, I trust the move. I ain't got no problem with it.
Dang, I didn't know he wasn't at UM anymore. But this is also a point I was thinking about, Rawhide. This is really, really interesting. Is that, Coach Loadholt, it was kind of strange to just see him sign here for 1 year, right? I do wonder if this was kind of part of the plan all along, was Coach Loadholt wanting to get back to the SEC. He was at Ole Miss. Now he's at Mississippi State. So back in the state of Mississippi, back in the SEC, hoping that he could parlay the opportunity here to go back there, as well as kind of help prepare Gunnar White, maybe just a little raw, so to speak, or a little green, and just needed a little bit more seasoning. So again, I always thought like the signing the 1 year deal, big year, like that's kind of strange, right? Betting on yourself, so to speak, but that's kind of that's what I've been wondering over the last like couple weeks since this has been announced, if this was kind of something that was part of the plan all along.
Yeah, because the way you thought, what I'm saying, the way you said, I agree with you on that, because I was looking at the opposite direction when they did that, because I thought it was odd myself. I think me and you may have spoke on it, but I was just like, man, that's kind of weird, and it made me kind of nervous, right, as far as what the future held as far as at the head coaching position when I saw that. So
Mhm.
it did make me scratch my head by signing a 1-year thing, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. But man, I just hope Gunnar White, man, sticks around for a handful of years. Hopefully, Andre Gerode stays around again. Of course, being a buff, and I think having Hegamin around has been great for the recruiting. But yeah, I think this offense is going to look quite a bit different. We've brought in many newcomers through whether it's high school or the transfer portal. Last time we talked, man, we talked about Julian Lewis. How we were both excited for that commitment. But if you're wanting to still build off of the year that was 2024, going to the Alamo Bowl, all that, it's probably best if you bring in a veteran quarterback. What was your first thoughts, reactions to seeing Kaidon Salter transfer out here?
Oh, my first thoughts was he was going to be the starter for the upcoming season. Because 2 years ago, he had a heck of a season. Last year he took a little step back, but outside of that, you're in the final years of your college career. You're not just throwing them away. So I'm assuming that they that he was under the impression that he was going to be the starter.
Yeah,
which things can change. Not saying that that's written in stone, but things can change.
Now, I bet you're happy about this, man, because I just don't think that you're going to put Kaidon Salter in a Shedeur Sanders type of offensive system, man. How are you expecting this offense to look?
I knew you was gonna ask me that. I knew you was gonna ask me that, Dave. I knew you was gonna ask me that. And I guess I gotta kind of take it from what's his Brian Howell. I guess I gotta see it to believe it at this point. I'm like, if it was gonna be an opportunity where the amount of carries or an honest attempt of running the ball and being good at it and being consistent at it, I thought it should have been last season. Now the defense is that they playing that all day long. You're gonna have some heavy boxes, right? So I got to see it to believe it, Dave. He got to see it, because I thought I went in the last season. I said they're gonna run that ball this year. Remember, I said,
you about quit on the team.
I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. I'm like, what are you doing? I was so hot about it, and I was just like, hey, listen, man. So if you want, I just didn't believe they were going to do that, but they did.
Yeah,
they ran it more efficient. I think they ran it more efficiently though. But yeah, I got to see it to believe it, Dave. That's all I can say. Well, they should do it if they do it the right way. They'll run the ball. Attempt to do it and continue to do it and take the pressure off of the quarterback. You know what I mean? So have him pull it and run. So I just think that's the safest type of offense to play.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a fun offense. I mean, I don't know if we'll incorporate obviously everything that Liberty does.
But is that Pat Schumer though?
What is Pat Schumer, man? What is Pat Schumer?
Okay. What is Pat Schumer? Okay. Yeah. What is Pat Schumer? Okay. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we've been talking about this for 2 years now. What is...
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we can incorporate some of that speed option stuff, or just obviously we can run the ball better with just some zone read. But one of the
question,
things.
Dave.
Say what?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I had a question after you got through with that.
Oh, okay. But the one thing that they got to work on him with is, tremendous running threat and scramble threat. So I think he's going to make the offensive line look better in both pass and run. But the one concern I have about him is his fumbling. I think he's had double-digit fumbles in both of these last 2 years. While he's putting up a ton of touchdowns, right? Responsible for a ton of yardage for the offense. But that is one thing that is going to, I think, drive us crazy, is if he doesn't correct the fumbling. And that mainly happens with running the ball. And when you run that option stuff, sometimes those things can get a little tricky on the handoffs or the pitches, or And I think that's where some of these turnovers come from. So I know there is, I think, a smaller and smaller group of fans that just want to see Julian Lewis, for some reason, start behind this line as a 17-year-old freshman, which I'm not the biggest fan of if we got a senior option. But if Julian Lewis is going to get on the field outside of injury, it's going to be because Kaidon Salter isn't taking care of the ball. And that's where I really want to see him improve this year.
Okay. I guess my question to you is, what are Coach Prime is selling NFL. Look, and this is NFL type of deal, NFL style quarterback, NFL type. That's what we're teaching. To me, to go away from that kind of goes against that philosophy. What if Kaidon Salter was like, they recruited him. They said, listen, we like your attributes, what you got. But to go for that to transition to the next level, what you need to do is you need to be in a more pro style offense.
Yeah.
Now, I get it, chat. Don't jump on my throat. I know last year was not necessarily pro style offense. I get that. But so before y'all just lose your minds. but I'm just saying, man. So, but maybe pro style concepts, okay? And
Sure.
that's what he's yearning for, because that's what he needs to take a step two to get to the next level. So what if you're thinking, because you don't want two different things for him and the youngster, right?
Julian, right.
You don't want that. So you want something that both of them kind of do. But so what if that's what they're doing? So all the running that we may be expecting, it may not be there.
Wonderful point. I have not actually thought about that, but now I'm thinking I might need to lower my expectation.
Oh, there it is for that reason, bro. What you doing? That's not what I did, bro.
This is a wonderful point, though. And it was rumored that he did turn down like a school like Michigan to come out here and play. I think that's because we got I think we have a very quarterback friendly environment. We have some weapons, of course, led with Omari and Miller. But yeah, how much pro style do we want to go? Because you want to balance that with kind of what he's really good at. And he's really good at running the ball too, and like throwing downfield. How much of that short and intermediate game do we incorporate? That's a good question. If we're trying to fit him into a system that doesn't exactly fit his strengths, a la Drew Lock Broncos with Pat Shurmur, that's not going to be fun to watch. But I thought that Pat Shurmur did a pretty good job this year with Shedeur. Now, there are other aspects, as thank you, Reverend, is bringing this up in the super chat. There are other aspects involving the offense this year that I just don't think Pat Shurmur is going to have that sort of tug and pull with anybody on the roster for. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that he can or can't even do that. He may be able to do that. He just wasn't asked to do it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That's going to be something to watch. Because we better incorporate the freaking tight end. Another impact player that we're bringing in is Zach Atkins. The only real tight end that we got right now that isn't a freshman or that isn't injured. Is Zach Atkins coming from Division II. I think he's got a little bit of wiggle. He can block. He can run downfield. I think he runs a pretty, advanced route tree compared to what we've seen out of our tight ends the last couple years. He can run a corner route. He can run down the seam. He can do those things, not just in the flat. Have you had a chance to watch any of Zach Atkins or anything? Nah.
No, I saw one or two highlights. Nothing that I could just hang my hat on and speak to. But if we're gonna go more pro style, he would need to be involved, right? And that's what I was about to get to. You're the second person that I've heard here recently mention about that young man and wanting to be able to use him. I mean, I don't think anybody actually knows what they're gonna run next season. I think we all speculating.
Yeah.
I don't think we know because I mean, I think you brought up a good point on what you want to use Kaidon Salter for. I don't. Does Kaidon Salter want to do that? I mean, I just don't know what they're gonna. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see because we just assume that he's just gonna be tucking it and running all over the field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, some people might not like this, but I'm getting to my way too early position coach hot seats right now.
Oh my god, Dave! Why do you like fire coaches all the time? You fire them all the time.
I think it's so fun. Pick a side. Pick a side with every single position coach. Which side you on? Right now, top of the list, Brett Bartolone, man. If the tight ends come out and have a terrible second year under him, man, it's going to be time to move on, man. I think that, yeah, that's how I feel about it, man. And for him being an amazing recruiter, man, it's awesome. You know, we got we brought in one tight end in the transfer portal, baby, from Division II. You know, that's great. But
he was in the top.
People want to crucify our king, Coach Hart. Imagine if he brought in a Division II linebacker, man.
Dave, he was in that top all of the country, top under 30.
That's great. Some people peak early.
Okay, you tough on coaches, brother. You are tough on coaches, bro. You are a straight gangster on coaches, bro. Golly.
I'm gonna say, like, this isn't much, man. Can we get 400 yards of receiving from our tight ends this year? That's all I want.
But is that the tight end coach problem though?
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, Dave, this is what you're gonna have if that coach. If you was the CEO of that team, every position coach always gonna be arguing with the head coach because you gonna be like, did you say something? Like, what kind of organization is you running over there?
I want Marshall Faulk going up to Coach Prime saying, "Get my guys the rock."
That's what you want.
Yeah, get my guys the rock, baby. That's what I
when
want.
he leave, you want Brett Bartolone to go out there and say, "Hey, you need to put the tight end in the game."
Yeah,
when he leave,
yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah.
But or you need Pat Shermer, bro. We're not gonna be putting Spell Smalls in anymore. Just not gonna do it. But I don't think we'll see as much of him this year. But am I tough on coaches? I mean, I've given Coach Prime an A both of these years, man.
Yeah, the head coach, but them doggone position coaches, you don't care nothing about them.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All of them pretty much are totally replaceable. That's how I feel about all of them. That's why I don't get too upset when any of them leave.
Yeah.
There are a million position coaches, man. What other transfers, man, are you excited about?
Before you mentioned, honestly, what I was gonna originally, I'm more excited about the defensive line.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
And what they're returning. I think I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I told him, I said, I think that's probably going to be their strongest position group.
Mm-hmm.
You got what's that, Lightfoot?
Mm-hmm.
What's that, McNeil?
Mm-hmm.
So and you got Coleman
and Otis
out of Utah State, huh?
Jaheim Otis from Alabama.
Yeah, Jaheim Otis. I tend to shy away from the Alabama guys, but yeah. So I already know what can come out every time you mention the Alabama guy. They're gonna be like, well, what about the old boy? He didn't do nothing. So I just shy away from them. But you're right. They got him also. So, and the amount they're returning. As a matter of fact, I think talking to you the other day, when you told me some names like Amari McNeil, I was thrilled that he was coming back, to be honest with you. So Amari McNeil back, what they returning production wise, now the starters they lost, they lost BJ Green out there on the end, and Shane Coates, he's gone. But I think this season's the most they had returning, is it not?
I think so.
From the previous season?
Yeah, we got Tawfiq Thomas coming back, Amari McNeil. This is going to be the year for Brandon Davis Swain to make
Brandon Davis Swain. People, I don't hear much about him anymore. But yeah, you got Anquan Barnes, you got Tarian Carter coming back. You know what I'm saying? So And then on defense, on the other end, you got Arden Walker. I think this is his 8th year. I don't know, man. You know, you got Keen Wade, you got Wiggins, but you know he didn't give you nothing. You got Taj McCoy coming back, Samuel Fanola back. So I think the defensive line is going to probably be their strongest position group.
And I think that's why, again, I think we're gonna get good production out of our linebackers as well. I think they were both incredibly productive, just like we saw in the Kyle Green come up from Charlotte, perform well. That's kind of I'm not calling that they're gonna be all Big 12 linebackers, but I think we're gonna get good linebacker play. I'll tell you who I'm really pumped for, man, as we wrap up within the next 4 or 5 minutes, is USF transfer safety Tawfiq Byard, I believe is how you pronounce his name. His brother, I'm forgetting his first name, but he was that all-pro safety Byard with the Titans, I believe. So he's got some of that NFL promise in his blood and his DNA, so to speak. And I think, hey, him with Carter Stoutmeyer, I think they're going to make a pretty interesting back end of the secondary.
Who you got playing corner?
The great question. On the outside, we'll put DJ McKinney, Colton Hood. Preston Hodge will be in the slot since he's coming back. Ivan Yates, who I think was our transfer last year from Holy Cross, I guess he's back. So that's great. I mean, I don't really know anything about him, but the fact that he's coming back for a second year, I think is good. I guess RJ Johnson is a full-time corner now, having transitioned from safety. He was at safety at Arkansas, I want to say. So we'll see. I still have some concern about our secondary if one of our starting guys goes down, because this is what I don't want to see, Raw. I don't want to see Preston Hodge go down, and then we say, hey, let's put Carter Stoutmeyer in the slot again. I don't want to see it. He's not a slot corner. I'm done seeing it. Yeah, so it was just so annoying seeing that happen in the Alamo Bowl, man. It was just so annoying.
It was the Alamo Bowl, Dave.
Yeah, we haven't won a bowl game in 20 years. I was talking to all the BYU fans, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, I mean, it's just a bowl game. I mean, we won our last one like 2 years ago or something like that." I'm just like, man, you guys suck.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I get it. I get it, bro. I do get it, but I don't know, man. You know how I feel about college football and secondary play. Everybody's always open, so it don't really matter to me. I just was kind of thrown off with what they had coming back. I mean, I am highly interested to see. I think this is going to be. How about this? I think it's going to be No, I'm not going to say that. But
it's going to be the best defense in the Big 12. That's what.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But I think I mean, y'all did see Philadelphia, Kansas City. You saw a defensive line do so.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, I didn't say they was gonna do that. I was just saying you see what they can do.
Dude,
you see what they can do.
Defense, the Philadelphia Eagles of the Big 12. That's right. I love it, man. I believe it. I believe it. We got the dogs up front, and that's why we run the ball. That's why we run the ball on the offensive side quite a bit, man. So
you're pretty confident in that, then?
Oh yeah, and I think again, just having the continuity of second year in Livingston's system, I think our defense by far is going to be I think the offense is going to take some time. I mean, we're losing all of our starting wide receivers. Offensive line is going to be a new bunch for the most part again. And
you think the offensive line going to be new?
Well, actually,
Kareem Harden,
the guard. Yeah, you're right. I misspoke. We got Kareem Harden, Cash Cleveland, Jordan.
Ballhead. What's it got? Ballhead. Tyler Brown.
No, he's not starting. No.
Why not?
No.
He don't think he's gonna be starting guard?
We are in trouble if Tyler Brown starting this year.
You know that, but okay, at tackle, he was bad at tackle. Was he that bad at guard?
Yeah. I don't want to see him at guard. I want to see him at backup guard.
Who you want? Okay, well, say who you want then.
Okay, so our returning starters will be those guys I just mentioned, and then we'll have Zy Chrysler coming in from Illinois. He's going to be great. I think he's going to be a great addition. And then right tackle is the big question mark. What happened with Phillip Houston? Was it a severe injury? Was it not? If it wasn't a severe injury, then I think he can get better. But if it's
Who's
not,
your center, Dave?
So Cash Cleveland got Cash.
Really? Oh, Zarian McNeil?
Yeah, because I like Zarian McNeil. I like his size, but he was a part-time starter last year. And the more I think about it, Ra, is like, Cash Cleveland made a huge jump last year when I wouldn't even consider him being somebody that could get on the field last year as a walk-on freshman, right? True freshman. If he has another jump like that, I mean, dude's only like 18 years old. Like, why can't he take another jump and just I'm going to give the benefit to the guy who I think has graded out really well. People have shared how, Cash Cleveland was actually one of the better performing true freshman offensive linemen in all of college football last year. So I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt last year coming into the season. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt this season.
Okay.
But yeah, what happens with right tackle? I don't know. I thought Phillip Houston was, he was okay. I don't think he'll be as much of a liability in pass with Caden Salter back there.
Yeah. He's going to make him look a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, maybe I misspoke. The coaching of the offensive line will be a little bit different. Maybe not necessarily the starting five. We might just have one new starter being Zy Chrysler.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
So
I think the offensive line has potential to be better than it was last year.
Oh,
I guess that's really not saying anything though.
Again, the bar is low. So I think we'll see a nice improvement again this year, just like we saw from 2023 to 2024. And Ra, how could we go this long without talking about special teams? We finally got a guy that can kick a touchback, man. Buck Buchanan. This guy can kick touchbacks. Now he's going to be at 5,400 feet above sea level. Feels great.
Mine ain't going nowhere, Dave.
Oh, that's okay. He can kick 45 inside, but we got a guy that can kick kickoffs. That's what I care about the most right now. And, if we need him to kick a 50-yarder, like I think beyond 50, he's like 50%, but that's better than probably what Mata would give you in terms of percentage of success. So we'll do the kicker by committee thing. Damon Graves will be a fun punter. He'll be fine coming in from Kansas. So how
do you feel about kicking by committee?
Oh, I would hate it in the NFL. I don't care about it in college. Yeah, don't care about it. Don't care. Yeah, I just care about the kickoffs. That's really what I care most about. So yeah, do that. And I think the offense is the biggest question mark right now in terms of kind of what to expect. Big question marks all across the board. It's going to be fun to watch, man.
Yeah, running back room question mark. What's your other question mark?
Well, now you brought up the whole offensive system.
Well, come on, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that, Dave. Don't do that, Dave. Dave. I that was just a hypothetical, Dave. I'll just ask.
Are we going to see development within our young wide receiver core? I think we're all expecting it, but Joseph Williams and Omarion Miller, like Joseph Williams might have the most career catches out of our whole room right now. I'm trying to think, and he's just going into his true sophomore season. So, Omarion, Draylon, I'm expecting those guys to take another step, but who's going to be the guys right after those three? Yeah.
I feel good about the wide receiver room. They don't move me at all. I'm not worried about that. I'm not concerned about that position group at all.
Good.
Terrell Timmons, O.R. Miller, Draylon Miller, Cam. I ain't worried about him.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. You concerned with that?
Not as much. But I just think some people I think we take for granted, man, like, or we think, not having Shedeur and Travis around, like, how it's just going to be an easy transition. And I know, like, there's always going to be this debate on, how much was Shedeur doing himself and whatnot. But, we're just losing a lot of like veteran talent on the offense. So I think it's going to take a little time to gel this next year. And Georgia Tech is quite a challenge that week 1 to see how everything goes. But I think our defense is going to have to keep us in games, some of these games.
Okay, I guess. This is how I view it, right? And this is the perspective I'm coming from, right? So if you tell me, if you believe that Kaidon Sanders is going to do a lot of running that he did like 2 years ago,
yes,
that tells me that's less pressure on the wide receiver group. So expectations have dropped, right? So you're not throwing as many balls. You're relying heavily on him making plays, right? So they just need to step. I think they got enough talent to do that.
Yes.
I mean, I keep going to Baltimore, but I think that's one of the teams that most people watch that can understand how they play. They wide receiver group. They just got a 1,000-yard receiver this past season, like a long time. You know what I'm saying? So, if you got somebody pulling it and running it, like I think a lot of people suspect him to do, then the wide receiver position group is not as important.
Yeah. I agree. Well, Ra, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, man, you went over.
This car worked on, but thank
that's
you
right.
so much, man, for taking time to chat with me. Chat, thank you for coming in here. Be sure to smash that like, subscribe to my channel as well as Rawhide's in the description. You got any shows coming up soon?
No, I got a recording I'm about to put out about North Carolina, actually, Bill Belichick. So we'll be getting into that.
Okay. Awesome, man. Well, again, thank you so much for joining.
No, man, appreciate you having me.
Appreciate it. We'll need to connect again soon as things start ramping up with spring practice.
Yeah, we do, man. We have to, especially I got my channel back.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. 2025 is off to a great start. All right, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Y'all take care. Go Buffs.